Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, I guess as they say, you can't win them all, but 11 in a row ain't too shabby for the New York Yankees. So they don't sweep their fourth series in a row against the Toronto Blue Jays, but still not really a big deal because the team's really rolling right now. They're in a really good place. You feel good about the team. So yes, the streak comes to an end, and you can't really sweep every single team you face. But Yankees, really on a good place right now. Pitching's really been, top notch. Hitting's coming along. The homers are going flying over the walls. And, Yankees made a little bit of a statement. Toronto's supposed to be the team to beat in the AL East. And at least with these three games, the Yankees clearly show that their pitching was able to subdue their bats. And right now, the Yankees are, probably, I don't say go crazy, say the best team in baseball, but pretty much right there at the top level, top three teams. And now maybe in a couple weeks that could change and Toronto gets in a hot streak. Who knows? But right now, the Yankees are the team in the AL East, clearly displayed by, after the series. And, Toronto kind of came out, gung-ho early this season with home runs and offense. And it was kind of like, a lot of people predict them to be the AL East champs, but not to be so far right now. It looks like the Yankees got that. So we'll get into the series a little bit as well as preview the Texas Rangers series. So they come into town for 3. So this game, it was kind of weird because the Yankees kind of swept their third series in a row against the Kansas City Royals. And you kind of figure, all right, we can travel the next day up to Toronto and maybe a bigger throwaway game. You figure, all right, on the road, the first game in, settle into the hotels and all that stuff. And maybe Toronto wants to make a statement, so they're going to come out strong. So you don't really expect to win that first game, but not the case. The Yankees edged it out 3-2. Now, before they arrived there, it was kind of questionable, where all the Yankees are going to be able to play this game. Of course, Canada has very tough COVID laws, and it was kind of seen that not all the Yankee players might have been vaccinated. Anthony Rizzo, he had some health issues. I believe cancer or something a couple of years ago, and just because of that, he felt like he didn't want to take the vaccine. And then if you read between the lines, it seemed like Judge wasn't vaccinated as well. But I guess someone got to their heads and just said, hey, look, we got these games against a tough AL East opponent. We can't have you guys not available. Two big bats, especially Judge and Rizzo, probably maybe two of the most important Yankee bats right now, at least the start of the season. So I guess they got the vaccinated whenever it happened. Who knows? But they were able to play all these games. And, I guess this was the Gleyber Torres game, you would say, providing all the offense for the Yankees, hitting a 2-run home run early in the game. Of course, Jordan Montgomery on the mound for the Yankees, so they're not going to score a ton of runs for him. So really it all came down to the ninth inning with Giancarlo Stanton leading off the ninth with a single. And I guess this is going to be the thing now, Boone using that weapon, Tim LaCastro, as the pinch runner. So on first base, pinch runs for Stanton, and LaCastro has just been a really great weapon for the Yankees. Swipes second base. Now he's at second base with Torres up, and similar to like the game-winning hit he had against the Cleveland Guardians, kind of goes right center field on a ball, and LaCastro was able to score easily, gives the Yankees the 3-2 edge. And then I guess with Chapman pitching the game before against Kansas City, he pitched 2 of those games during that weekend. And that last game, let's say he labored a little bit, but when he ended up throwing a couple because there were 2 outs, the Royals kind of put a hit and a walk and a little mini rally going together there. So I guess maybe Chapman, his arm might have been a little tired out. Maybe Boone just wanted to give him the night off. So actually goes with Chad Green to close out the game, and he has no problem close out the game. So the Yankees kind of swiped that first game. And I guess, if you want to look at the, list of best wins of the season, maybe I'd put that third or fourth. Obviously the first one's going to be, have that Cleveland Guardians game with Gleyber Torres had the game winning there. Unfortunately, that's where the beers got thrown by the fans, but the game itself was probably the best win. Second, maybe I would put that final game of Kansas City, where the Yankees were trailing 4-3 and kind of put a couple of runs up to tie and then go ahead 5-4 and then Judge added home run. So that Sunday Royals game would be number 2. And this game, I think you could put possibly 3. Now, opening day game was pretty good itself, just because it was a game-winning hit against the Boston Red Sox, the first game. But this win, I'll say either the third or fourth most satisfying win of the season so far. 2022 season for the Yankees so far. So then you go into game 2, and a bit of a nail biter. It was close early on. If you look at the final score, you wouldn't think that. The Yankees were behind, 1-0 early, but then finally Judge gets the Yankees on the board in the first game with a home run. And, this actually became a national story. So Judge's home run is a bomb to left field. Supposedly a Toronto Blue Jay fan catches it, and he turns around and sees a young Yankee fan behind him, gives him the ball, and the kid just breaks down in tears. And I guess it all got caught on camera. The whole thing went viral. And actually, the next game, the kid actually visited Judge in the dugout before the game, started crying again. I guess maybe I would do that too if I was like 5 years old and like kind of intimidating situation. But the story kind of grabbed headline news. So it's fun. Like each of these individual games almost had their own storyline to them. Maybe the first game you would say is perhaps, the Yankees that, they're all vaccinated. Also, I forgot to mention that first game, Stanton may actually, speaking of Stanton, made a great diving, not jumping, leaping catch in right field that actually put him out in right field to steal a home run ball. And John Sterling actually blew the call. And a lot of people just, Sterling blows a lot of calls, but kind of, you see a lot of people just say, hey, maybe this guy needs to hang it up. He blows too many calls here. But anyway, just kind of a little side note on that first game. In the second game, I guess the storyline was the Judge home run ball and the kid crying his eyes out. So back to the baseball game. So the Yankees really blew it open in the seventh inning, scored 6 runs, and then Stanton himself adds another home run. After that, and the Yankees paired themselves with an easy 9-1 lead over the Toronto Blue Jays, and they'll go out to win the game 9-1. Again, it was tight early on. Tyone effective, goes 6 strong innings for the Yankees, and the Yankee offense really comes on late and just batters around the Blue Jay bullpen. And then the Yankees take the first 2 games of the series, which brings them to the finale. And you kind of like looking at chops again, like, wow, can they sweep their 4th series in a row? And plus now they have Nestor Cortez on the mound for the Yankees, and he's kind of been the Yankees' best pitcher. Unfortunately for this game, not really his best stuff. I want to say he was garbage, terrible, but just not the vintage Nestor we've seen in his previous start. Struggled through a lot of pitches, walked 4 batters, only able to go 4 innings. Actually served up a home run early on to Matt Chapman. So the Yankees were behind and being held at bay by Yusei Kikuchi. Like bright spot about this game was actually the return of Joey Gallo. Wasn't available the first couple games in this Toronto series, so good to see him back in the Yankee lineup. And he at least got the Yankees on the board with a home run of himself. So, good way to come back. So his 3rd home run of the season. It had 2 against the Baltimore in the Baltimore series, so he's up to 3 home runs. But this game was kind of annoying. I want to say it was a bitter loss because the Yankees did have an opportunity very late in the game. But before we get that, a little bit outburst from Aaron Boone. So, as we know, Aaron Judge gets a lot of bad strikes called on him, especially low because the guy's like 6'7". He's a tall guy. So there was a pitch. It was a little bit more on the outside, if anything, and Boone erupted and got face-to-face with the home plate umpire, ended up getting ejected. Boone really got fired up, because Judge is kind of like, you never see Judge do that. He's very respectful. Like he'll just, maybe if there's a pitch he doesn't like, he'll just kind of walk out of the batter's box, he'll put his head down. That's kind of his way of telling the umpire he wasn't happy with that call. Boone just came out and, to protect Judge, just kind of did all the yelling for him. So he gets ejected, fires up, maybe try to fire up the team as well, because again, the bats were kind of sluggish outside the Gallo home run. So take it to the 9th inning where Yankees did have an opportunity to steal this one, but it wasn't to be. So they bring on their closer, Toronto, Jordan Romano. And now you have Rizzo up, and I'm not going to blame him because he's been pretty good with the Yankees so far this season. But on the second pitch, the first pitch, a ball, let this guy throw you a strike first. But Rizzo maybe he wanted to attack and try to maybe see if he could sneak a home run in. Ends up popping up the ball to right field. I got a little bit of disappointing at bat. I figure you got to close it. Let him throw a few pitches. Let's see what he got. Maybe he's wild. Maybe he doesn't have it tonight. But kind of Rizzo attacked the second pitch without even this guy establishing he could throw a strike. So kind of burn one out there. Okay, no big deal. Next comes up Giancarlo Stanton, and he does the opposite. He takes a couple of pitches, and then he line drives one right up the middle to get on first base. And then, of course, Aaron Boone does the same thing. Brings on Tim Locastro to be a pinch runner. Next up is Josh Donaldson, had a good bat himself, and is able to sneak a single in the shortstop holes. And the Yankees, have something cooking here at first and second. And up comes Aaron Hicks. And this was probably the worst, sequence for the Yankees, in this 9th inning. Aaron Hicks, even after doing that first game, the game that Gleyber Torres had the game-winning hit against Toronto, Hicks had an opportunity as well to do something. He struck out in this situation, struck out again. Now, it's not that he struck out, just the way he did it. So, first Romano throws a ball, okay, kind of fun ball. Then a little, 85 mile per hour, little breaking ball down the middle. Hicks takes it. It's like, okay, take the pitch, that's fine. Comes back with the same exact pitch right after that, right in there for strike 2. And it's like, wasn't really a tight breaking ball. I mean, Hicks could have really put some good wood on it and maybe done something there. Instead, he takes a second strike. And then after that, ends up swinging as a high fastball, and so blows the at bat. So the Yankees had runners on first and second there and could have done something. Now you're down to 2 outs with Joey Gallo up, and with Gallo, it's a little feast of famine. Either he's a very good eye at the plate, so either he's going to walk or he's going to strike out or hit a home run. There's going to only be 3 things that are going to happen in that situation. So Gallo actually put a good at bat on, worked the count to 3-2, would walk himself. So now you have bases loaded with Isaiah kind of Falefa up, and he's been one of the bright spots of the Yankees so far this season with the bat as well. Hits a little chop at a third base, and it was a real close play. Matt Chapman grabs it, fires to first base, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. does the full stretch and able to pick it out of the ground. I mean, a real bang play because Fleff is pretty quick down the line there, and just nips him by a nose. And again, the Yankees lose the game just by an inch, 2-1. Because if that ball is bobbled in the least, obviously Castro is going to score to tie a game, and perhaps. Donaldson running behind him could score as well, and the Yankees would have taken a 3-2 lead. But no, it's not the case. The Yankees then fall to the Blue Jays 2-1. So again, it was a kind of annoying loss, but I wouldn't say it was a bitter loss, and you still feel very good about the team where they are. At 18-7 at that point, coming back home to host the Texas Rangers. As I say, there's good losses, there's bad losses, there's good wins, there's bad wins. I would say this was a good loss, even though they lost the game. For example, let's say remember a couple of weeks ago when they were at Detroit and they won the first 2 games. In that third game, they kind of got shut out 3-0. It was just such a pitiful loss that it put a pit in your stomach. You didn't even care about those first 2 wins. It's almost like you felt like you got swept because it was such a bad loss. Not this case. It was annoying. You could only score 1 run, but the Yankees were right there. They could have taken it, so you don't really feel terrible about it. And again, it was against the Toronto Blue Jays, with no off days before that, and you're on the road beforehand against Kansas City, and just to fly there and still take the first 2 games, and not with no Cole, no Severi, so they went out there with Monty, Taillon, and Nestor Cortez, and they still took 2 out of 3 and possibly came very close to sweeping it. So you still feel very good about that, and that's really what the key is, that the Yankee pitching clearly showed that they can handle the Toronto bats, and the bullpen was phenomenal. Again, if that's the case the rest of the season, right now I just don't see any other team standing the Yankees' way. Red Sox not off to a good start this season. Tampa kind of I'm sure, things will happen. They'll turn it on later on. But right now, the Yankees clearly are the team in the AL East, and they just made that point. So the Yankees coming home now to host the Texas Rangers for 3 games. There was an off day before the game, and the other Rangers, I guess the New York Rangers, were playing a playoff hockey, hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins at Madison Square Garden, and spotted in the crowd was Rizzo, Judge, and DJ LeMahieu, enjoying the night off, watching a little hockey and sucking back a few beers. Hopefully they don't have any headaches or anything that first game against Texas. So, we'll see how that all plays out. And for the Texas, they come in at 10-14, so a couple games under 500. You would figure overall is a team that the Yankees should handle, and they're going to have Cole and Severino available during that series. So I would give the edge to the Yankees, plus they're home. And, if you're funny, look at Texas, they spent they've invested 7 years and $175 million to Marcus Semien at second base. He's hit like 158 with no home runs. And, of course, the big contract, the big $325 million deal for Corey Seager. Okay, he has 2 home runs and hitting 258. So over $500 million invested in those 2, up the middle defense. And they're kind of getting spit. So it just kind of goes to show that everyone complaining about the Yankees early on in the season. Cashman didn't spend any money, and all these teams are signing these free agents. The Yankees aren't doing anything. Well, how would you like to spend $175 million Marcus Semien, and the guy's hitting less than 200? Man, he'll be getting killed here at the plate. He'll be booed. It'd be a disaster. So sometimes you got to be grateful for the people you don't sign. So that's all. So the Yankees keep on rolling. Again, hosted the Rangers for 3 games. And again, I think the Yankee Stadium, I think Sunday for Mother's Day, they're giving like free hand purses. So I don't know if you have to prove you're a mother or if you're just a woman, or maybe you're a guy too. You can get a purse. Who knows what's going on there? But yes, it is Purse Day Sunday at Yankee Stadium. So make sure you should check that out. So Section 420, Talkin Yankees. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. I'm sure there's a button somewhere there that says subscribe. Hit that. Get more content, wrap-ups, rants, everything throughout the season. Section 420, Talkin Yankees, over and out.